For those of you that might be new to the podcast, my name is Bart Berkey. I am the founder of Most People Don't. It's a company that is designed to help people get better, to help people to be inspired to do more, to achieve more based on taking action. During my 16 years with Ritz-Carlton and 30 years plus in hospitality, I gained a unique perspective on how the element of service can inspire intentional, above and beyond actions. Not only do we have the podcast, I travel around the globe with keynote messages in addition to sales and service training. If you are a group or organization that is in need of some motivation or an inspirational message, please reach out to us through our website, which is mostpeopledon't.com. Most importantly, thank you for doing what most people don't. Welcome to the podcast. Joe Hummel is the CEO of Twin Peaks Restaurants. We are coming live from the Ford Center in Frisco, Texas.
Pretty cool.
It's amazing. And behind us, and I know we're not going to necessarily zoom in, but literally it is, is it the practice field?
I think they do practice in here where the weather's inclement, but it's just all part of the Frisco, Dallas headquarters, Dallas Cowboy headquarters. Yeah. They have outdoor practice, indoor practice, high schools use it.
It's a fun place, and thanks. We just got done with the meeting, and very nice Twin Peaks Restaurants selected me to be one of their keynote speakers. We had some really good conversations about now moving to next and thinking about the future. But Joe, I want to talk about you primarily. You will know all the answers. I have witnessed you over the last 24 hours show some remarkable leadership.
Thank you.
Congrats. Congrats on Twin Peaks taking it public.
Yep.
What is the
TWNP on NASDAQ.
TWNP on NASDAQ. What an incredible feat. I want individuals to know about you, your background, and then to move into the world of you as a leader, you as a restaurateur, you as a CEO, and what you are doing with Twin Peaks, because my exposure to Twin Peaks, and yesterday was the first time we experienced the restaurant, blown away.
I'm glad.
Blown away.
And unplanned.
Unplanned, yes. And the attention to detail, we'll get into some stories along those lines, but phenomenal. The purpose of our podcast, it's top 2 to 5% consistently worldwide. The reason, because we get interesting guests that most people might not have access to, we share your story about how you do what most people don't do. The name of the company, the name of the podcast. Tell us about your background. I know growing up St. Louis, maybe I'll just talk the entire time.
I'm good with that. I'll listen.
Yeah, so Joe's from St. Louis. He went to Clemson. He's been with XYZ. No, so growing up, St. Louis and then to Clemson.
Yep.
When did you think you wanted to get
He's a franchisee of ours. And he and I have been friends and partners. I worked for his father.
So you understand the procurement side, the purchasing side, the supply side, and you did that for how long? So that was right out of school, right out of Clemson?
From 1992 to 2003. Okay. And then in 2003, I moved over to the restaurant side, on the Hooter side, and took over their purchasing and streamlined it, fixed some opportunities, and then took over operations, took over R&D, training, took over that responsibilities for that and the team building there.
And was that different? It's a different role and different responsibilities.
It was.
How was that?
I went from a big manufacturing plant and a distribution network, and we had 75 delivery trucks. I drove trucks. I'm on the restaurant side, so it was totally different. You're accommodating a guest with, we'll call it, 15-minute lead time. We don't know what you're going to order, and you're going to order, and I got to get it to you in 15 minutes, because that's essentially what you want on ticket time. So when you look at it that way, you're like, from a manufacturing side, I need 7-day lead time. We'll get your orders to you. Go to the restaurant side, you get 15 minutes. I have no idea what you're going to order, and you're going to ask me, and then I'm going to take a product and make it a finished product in 15 minutes. So you think about it in that feed, it's pretty incredible.
It's remarkable. What has kept your interest? Because I'm thinking about you as an individual, and we won't go back to high school days or middle school days, or maybe we will.
Those were some days.
Are you, like your expertise, would you classify yourself as a restaurateur? Would you classify yourself as a CEO, as a great leader? We're going to include all of these things, but I'm just trying to get at the essence of, because there are some people that I met at this conference that were like, their family started a restaurant, and so from 2 years old they were sitting in the back, right, in a baby stroller, whatever the example would be, but they grew up through
the
that world.
business.
Yeah.
I think I grew up as an operator.
Okay, as an operator.
Yeah, whether it was operating in distribution, manufacturing, operating a restaurant, operating an office, operating a company.
And I think that's the key.
Yeah.
Operator.
Yeah.
And whenever we are promoting this, I want to make sure that we're setting certain taglines, and there's going to be certain words that come out in certain themes. Operator is definitely you.
Yeah.
Joe Hummel is an operator. Okay, your move, you left Hooters to go into, what was the next role?
I became a franchisee for Twin Peaks. I left, and several of my partners at Hooters, partners, bosses, whatever they were, we had this restaurant starting to pop up called Twin Peaks. And they were eating a lot of our, they were eating our lunch, literally. And they had a really cool product. So we were leaving Hooters, and there was about 430 stores at the time. There was new ownership. I don't think I meshed very well with them, so I thought I probably should think about doing something different. A couple of my other partners said the same thing, and I said, why don't we call Twin Peaks? We went from about 430, we were doing about 980 million at Hooters, and we went to this other thing called Twin Peaks that had 14 stores. And we bought a 43 store development agreement, 6 states in the Southeast.
Wow.
And I was executive vice president of Hooters. We took the CEO, who is a franchisee today with us at Twin Peaks, chief operating officer, chief legal officer. I took a CFO, I took a lot of multi-unit operators, and we started a company.
Incredible.
And we bought a big agreement, and I think we signed our agreement in August of 2011. Our first store opened July of 2012.
Okay.
In Buckhead, Georgia.
Incredible.
2 stories. And talk about intimidating.
Yeah.
We're like, first off, we don't know anything about this brand. We're learning. It's a cool brand, and we saw an opportunity of a clean canvas, and to put all of our successes on that canvas, and to avoid all of our misses, we'll call them, that we missed in our previous career. And like, all right, those are misses. Let's not do those misses again. So we got to have a new canvas to paint, and we saw it as a bigger, faster car, even though it was only 14 stores.
Sure.
It had all the elements to be a bigger, faster car.
Okay, so it was something, the vision that you and your partners had, that we could do something, we could create this into something even bigger.
Yeah.
And several individuals, franchise owners in your internal team here, your corporate team, was telling me a little bit about the founder originally.
Our Twin Peaks founder?
With Randy, yes.
Great guy.
Yeah. Do you know what his vision was when he started Twin Peaks? Because I want to get to that as the foundation to how you are passionate about continuing that culture. Can you share a little bit about?
When we got involved with Randy, one of the scratch food, 29-degree beer. The bar wasn't as big, but he wanted a cool bar, wanted a great place to watch sports. Everything's evolved over time. But he knew his DNA, and his big tagline to me was, we're narrow and deep. We don't want to be everything for everybody.
Okay.
We want to be something for a core group of people, and we want to do it as deep as we can.
Okay.
Instead of going wide and shallow. So if you dive in a pool that's wide and shallow, you're probably going to break your neck. If you dive in a pool that's narrow and deep, and you go through, you're going to swim on. And so that kind of resonated. He's narrow and deep, and a lot of brands try to be everything to everybody. We know we're not everything for everybody. It's just, there's certain restaurants that attract different clients.
Yes.
And we know what we are, and we want to stay true to that. And he really pitched that, and as franchisees, we bought into it. We're like, we're in. And then he allowed us to take that narrow and deep approach and even go deeper. That's where we expanded the bar and did patios. And we went with our first store had 100 TVs. None of the Twin Peaks ever had that. We had 2 floors, 2 bars, open air. We went all in, fire pit. So we took all the DNA elements, so we're going to do them even more narrow and more deep, if that makes sense.
No, understood. In the DNA, knowing what you were, what you started as, and what you are, how would you describe? Because for me, being East Coast, I know the expansion and the goal in a couple of years, if I may say, $1 billion company soon.
That is our goal.
Yeah, and I know you can do it. I'm just curious on how you would describe Twin Peaks to people that aren't familiar. Phenomenal exposure, Texas or West Coast, coming to the East Coast. But how would you describe what is a Twin Peaks restaurant?
It is a craveable, bold lodge experience that takes you away from all your problems and puts you in this atmosphere. And it's just, you escape, and it's in this timeless capsule that you're in because everything stops.
Yeah.
And you walk into Twin Peaks Girls, 100 TVs, 29-degree beer, scratch food, fire pits.
Yeah.
You're going to leave a lot of your bad stuff behind you.
No, I love that.
And there's a lodge everywhere. If you think about it, there's not a lot of lodges in Texas.
No, you're right. You're right.
So a lodge could be anywhere, and it can be a hunting lodge, a mountain lodge, fishing lodge. It's
A lodge.
And lodges are all the same, but they're all different. And that's what we think our buildings are. They all have the same DNA, nostalgic wood, textures, ambiance, lighting, but they all have their differences. Just like your granddad's lodge might be different than her granddad's lodge, which is different than my granddad's lodge, but they're all lodges.
Yeah. And with the DNA, there's a current audience, and then I believe customer, demographic-wise, and I believe there's a future, a next demographic. Currently, is there an age, predominantly gentlemen, but I know it's becoming more
75-25 roughly.
Age range?
Our age, and that's one thing we wanted to do at Twin Peaks brand that wasn't done at the last brand I worked at. We did not backfill our guests.
Meaning?
Our guests started at Hooters, it started in 83.
Okay.
So our guests started in 83 and they aged out and the brand didn't evolve. So our goal, and if you see it in our guiding principles and whatever, is evolution.
Yeah.
And we have to continue to evolve, and we have to continue to take, we started in 2005, that guest in 2005 obviously is getting older, but we need to make sure the new 2005 guest is in 2025.
Yeah.
And the same demographic has different likes, and whether it's different preferences of food, drinks, TVs, sports, but it's still the same DNA. So we have to understand what that new demo, and so our age demographic is really quite great because I think it's roughly like 23 to, the core group of our age is 23 to, I mean, there's 58s to 65s and there's probably 16s to 20s, but having that 23 to 55 or whatever is great because you see a backfill.
Love it.
And I think the biggest reason to backfill is the evolution of the brand, whether it's the evolution of the food, the bar, ice balls in our drink. When I first started, we, I don't know, 20, 30 bottles of liquor, 160 bottles. Yeah. We served stuff on clear ice balls.
Yeah.
We thought it was so cool when we saw it. We saw it at one of Randy's concepts.
Okay.
As a franchisee, we're like, we need that. And he's like, that's not for Twin Peaks. I'm like, why?
Why not?
We're all guys and we think that's cool.
Yeah.
And we want it.
So the first experience yesterday was at your number one
first store.
I guess, first store in Louisville, Texas. And Terry took a picture of the shelf of liquor.
Yeah. Oh, where it's lit in red and all that?
Yeah, and it's all top shelf.
Yeah.
And then we probably took a picture of the drink menu. And I was like, are you kidding me? I can get that kind of a drink for $5.99. Today, when you were on stage, you were talking about, we were thinking about drinks that would be popular 5 years ahead of its time. Okay. Which then gets into the concept of next. Our listeners for the podcast are executive directors, there's many hospitality, there are some hoteliers, there are some nonprofits. It's a nice wide variety. But why I believe that they're listening is that they want to be able to learn something from you, if they can apply it personally or if they can apply it professionally. So the question goes back to thinking about next, which you allowed me to share on stage, and what could be the future. We talked about, and I just got a pop-up that it's some golden anniversary of the Egg McMuffin. Someone thought about, hey, let's do breakfast. One of your staff and one of your team members came up to me and said, I have another story for you. Dunkin' Donuts was almost going out of business, and some franchise owner said, we have all of these little dough balls from the holes. Maybe we could try selling those. So they sold those munchkins.
Yeah.
And that changed a lot of things. How are you and your team able to think about what's next without sharing proprietary secrets?
First thing we do is, me being a franchisor at Hooters, a franchisee at Twin Peaks, and a franchisor at Twin Peaks. Randy allowed us as a franchisee to come up with ideas, as long as we stayed in the DNA. And he allowed it. When we first started, people came to us and said, you can't build a patio in a lodge. And we're like, we're going to Florida, we need a patio. Everybody sits on patios. Lodges don't have patios. And I remember Randy told the staff, leave them alone.
Yeah.
Let them come up with their ideas. And we had 32 draft handles, and they're like, we only have 16. I said, I have 16, but I have 16 more. So what's wrong? And I think listen to your franchisees, because they're entrepreneurs. They are risk takers. They invest in us as a brand and a franchisor. And so we have combative meetings, we have great meetings, we drink together, we laugh together, we yell at each other, but we all have great ideas. And it stays on brand.
Why not?
See what happens.
Yeah, so empower.
It's like the donut hole guy. It's probably a franchisee.
Yes,
It's
exactly.
probably like, I'm throwing all these donut holes away.
Right, yes, exactly.
And a
what happened.
franchisor can get caught up in like, oh, it's the rules, the guidelines, and they're running it from the office. You don't make any money in the office. The office spends money.
Love it.
You have to make money out in the field, and you have to listen to your operators. Listen to your operators. Some of our best drinks, we're like coming up with these drink ideas. And so I remember we were doing an ideation for drinks. I said, just go in the POS system and find the top 25 drinks that are not on the menu that are used. Because somebody's ordering them.
Yes.
And who's a better person to know who's ordering them than the Twin Peaks girls? So they're putting all these drinks in. You say, this drink, we sell 2,000 drinks of. It's not on our menu. I know, somebody wants it. Put it on the menu. And all of a sudden it goes to 6,000 drinks.
Yeah.
So
and then you share it with other stores, other lodges.
Yeah, give us the top. I always ask when I go to a store, what's the biggest thing you get requested that we don't have? And some are crazy. Well, we can't do that.
Yeah.
Some are like, I never thought of that. Why don't we do that?
All right, so the culture. Essentially, it all goes back to culture and DNA.
It does.
Of what was started with Twin Peaks, and I'm hearing empowerment.
Yeah.
Right, growth mindset, open to new ideas, being allowed to try and experiment, all of these lovely things. Again, unique factor. You had referenced, my experience at least, service. And we are calling them internally TPGs, Twin Peak Girls.
Twin Peaks girls.
I wasn't sure what to expect when we went to your first restaurant yesterday. And everything about it was welcoming. There wasn't just one person that greeted us, there was 4 people.
I heard that, and it was great.
Yeah, and I didn't know who was a host, who was a hostess, who was a server, who was a bartender. It didn't matter. We were greeted by 4 different people in a friendly, warm, welcoming way, like a lodge. And as soon as that happened, you're absolutely right. My worries began to go away. So that was step 1. Step 2, being able to look at the menu and find some food that was healthy yet comforting, yet made from scratch. Are you kidding me?
Right.
And from my seat, and I know part of some of the standards, is it that you can see 5 TVs from any?
3 to 4, we could say, but hopefully it's more.
I saw plenty.
Yeah.
I saw plenty.
Especially coming with March Madness, you're going to need to see a lot.
Yeah. And there was nothing else that I was thinking about except enjoying that lunch with my wife at Twin Peaks Restaurant. Phenomenal. I do want to ask you about the service element. How are you able to find individuals that are willing to go above and beyond? We had interviewed one person, Demi. Phenomenal, right? 11 years with the organization, helps with new store openings.
Certified trainer.
Yeah, great person. I know when I talk to other service-related companies, it's hard to find great people, and then it's hard to keep them. Is there any advice that you would give for any company on how are you able to find good people and how are you able to keep them?
Your culture brings good people, and sometimes you can get caught up into your being too stuffy. At the end of the day, we're having fun.
Yeah.
We're not building rockets, which could be probably tedious. Might be fun, not my kind of fun, but we're TVs, liquor. What is not fun? And so if you can find that atmosphere and reminded, and we all need to be reminded, I need to be reminded of it. You're taking yourself too serious. Like, is this the right song? I don't know. What does it matter?
Yeah, switch it.
Yeah.
If it change it.
It was like when we wanted to do ice balls. Well, why can't we? It's ice.
Yeah.
It's ice balls. It's cool. I think having that culture, and sometimes we can get caught up in it. I get caught up in it and it gets too serious. Let's remember what we do. We're about having fun.
Yeah.
By God, you're going to have fun.
Yeah. Even your, I mean, just watching even your leadership style. Like from stage, you were not, I'm Joe, welcome to day 2 of the meeting. It was, hey, look, I have a couple of notes here. We're going to talk about the fun that we had last night.
There was some interesting topics.
I'm sure we're not going to use any code words. You're going to celebrate people's birthdays, but it's really cool to see just you're a human being, right? First, there are some people that I have interacted with that I've seen in my life that they were taking themselves too seriously.
Yeah.
And that was a culture that was not right for me to observe, and those aren't the people that are on my podcast. The people that I have on the show are people real like you. So thank you for being you. Leadership, Joe, you have a lot of people looking at you. How would you describe your leadership style?
Accountability has to come into play, and that's when you can get too serious. But you still have to be accountable for whether it's accountable to make sure the stores are opening properly or having fun or whatever. You have to be accountable to it. I think as a leader, I think when you look at companies that maybe don't rise to the top or struggle at it, the leadership isn't the customer anymore.
Say that one more time, because that might be the title of this podcast.
The leadership isn't the customer anymore when the brand struggles. When you don't become your guest or your customer, how do you know what to give your guest or customer? So if you're not, and it goes back to the leadership, are we leading from the ivory tower? Are we leading from the ground, and the operators are where it's at?
Yeah.
And the office is important, and there's support functions, and all that's very important. But we always have to remember we're serving our operators, or we're serving our guests.
Yeah.
So that's a standard line that people say. But when you're not a guest, I don't know how you can give the guest what you want.
Yeah, you are putting yourself into.
And I really
shoes.
expect everybody in our brand to feel as I would want to be here. If you work somewhere where you don't want to be, or you don't want to fly on that certain plane or stay at that certain hotel, how do you run it? I don't want to stay there.
Yeah.
But you're running it?
Yeah. Yeah, you're putting yourself into the shoes of your team members,
Have to.
of your franchise owners, of your customers, which is really.
I guess.
Do you care about how people feel?
Absolutely. I really love seeing our teams advance. When I see somebody start at whatever level and continue to move up the ranks and become directors and multi-unit operators and directors at the office and department leaders and VPs, and they started at whatever level and moved up, and the whole process they were taking care of their family because they could get promotions and more money, able to take care of their family and grow their family. It's just, if that doesn't make you happy as a leader, you want to drag everybody along with you. You don't want to leave them in the dust. You want to drag them all with you.
I would have said pulled up, but drag.
Sometimes dragging is what you have to do.
I love drag, and shout out to Megan.
Absolutely.
We were
Prime
talking 20 years, first Twin Peaks girl, and now she is on your marketing team, just absolutely crushing it. And we were having the conversation about, like, where did time go?
Yeah,
and we came up with the tagline. I know she's over here in the room also. Meanwhile, meaning I started because I needed a job. I needed a job, your first job out of school with a different company. And meanwhile, 20, 30, 40 years, 20, 30 years later, look where you are. That is so important. And so many people that I met today, 10 years, 11 years, 17 years. So dragging along is another great phrase.
I don't have a lot of family that live close to me. My kids do, and obviously my wife, but I'm as close to my work family as my family. because you're spending so much time with them and you're watching them grow and advance and their families grow and advance.
Yeah. That sounds like a nice thing to say, but you really care.
Yes.
Wow.
And you talk about empowering. So Megan, and all of us, we all started out as a knife, a pocket knife, but we became a Swiss Army knife.
Wow. Together.
Because we wanted to do more things than just cut. We wanted to be a screwdriver and scissors and a can opener, and all of a sudden we have all these facets, and we became a Swiss Army knife. And if she was the ultimate Swiss Army knife, because she knows enough about every department,
Right.
and she just did it because she wanted to do it. What else can I learn?
Yeah.
And I think the brand, whether it was me or Randy or whoever or her, empowered it and said, yeah, it needs to be done, do it.
Amazing.
And
Amazing.
I think that's in part of the empower, and I don't know, decide, what do you want to do? Become a Swiss Army knife. Keep adding tools.
And were you brought up that way? Were people giving you the flexibility, Joe? Do whatever you want to do, or was it different?
It was different.
Okay. And maybe because it was different, that's why you are the way you are?
Maybe. I was the youngest of the family. We grew up in an okay neighborhood, we'll call it. Good family. But your front porch thing was good today.
Yeah.
The front porch, I read somewhere, it's like the demise of the American family. Because families sat out on the front porch. We did.
Yeah.
Whether it was air conditioned, everybody's walking on the sidewalk. We played step ball.
Yes.
Because you didn't have a backyard. Now everything's hidden in the backyard or the bedroom. Like you said, I scroll, I watch TV, and I stay in my bedroom all by myself. Or I go in the backyard and I don't meet anybody, and I just stay to myself. And I have a backyard, and I like my backyard. But you think about it, we all sat on the front porch until it got dark.
Yes. Yes. And so we're missing that.
A little bit. And that's that socializing of it.
Yes.
And maybe Twin Peaks can be the front porch.
Well, and that's exactly what we were talking about. We were just throwing out ideas, and I was asking your audience, the franchisee owners, and then also your internal team, give me the next McMuffin. We're just going to spitball here. Give me the next McMuffin. And then some of the conversations, again, not wanting to give away any secrets, but I believe the things that we talked about today, I'm probably going to see you all implement.
Oh, well, you're going to see nuggets of it.
Okay.
We might even add blueberries to the menu.
Okay, love it. But part of it also was the element of community. Part of the DNA, you're in a lodge, you are getting to know the Twin Peak girls that are friendly, that are approachable, that are authentic, that care about making customers feel a certain way. And I want to make sure that I'm phrasing this right. It's not just a pretty person, a good-looking human being. It is a person that cares and understands the concept of Twin Peaks. Having said that, if I look at other competitors, perhaps before in that space, and I'll just say Hooters as an example, to me, it wasn't as tasteful and it wasn't as classy. Does Twin Peaks, because of your great service, because of your environment, because of the food, the scratch food, because of the 29-degree beer, how much of the element of Twin Peak girls needs to be celebrated, shown, advertised, promoted, versus it's the lodge, it's all of your worries get away, it's great service, it's scratch food, it's cold beer. Do you understand the question?
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
The Twin Peaks girl, they're the brand ambassador. And we want them to do nothing but take care of the guests. And that's one of the reasons we have people that roll silverware, we have people that cut fruit, we have people that get ice, we have people that sweep the floors. And if you look at some restaurants, they make your server do that. We want our Twin Peaks girls not to do that. We want them to strictly concentrate, what do you need? And so that's first off. So the Twin Peaks girl's the hook. And so you're like, oh, she's great. And then you're like, oh my God, look at these prices. Oh my gosh, I can get a scratch kitchen. They have that liquor. I couldn't even find it anywhere in my city.
I can watch that UFC fight that I don't subscribe to.
Yeah. So I think all of them are it's like the cake and the icing, and which one is it? Depends on what you're in for. If you're in to see the great hospitality of Twin Peaks girl, she's the cake. And the icing on it is the scratch kitchen. Or if you're here for a great meal, you're here for the scratch kitchen, then that's the cake, and she's the icing on it. It just depends on what you're there for. If you're there for UFC, the TVs are the cake, and the prices are, it depends on what you're for.
Yeah, there's different elements.
There's different reasons to come in, and we always say that when I talk to investors is, What's so different about you? Our guests can use us in one day so many different ways.
And let me share, because I'm right with you, Joe. There was a family that came for lunch. So we're sitting there 12 o'clock. There was a family, 2 or 3 kids, probably ages, I'd say 3 to 7, coloring and just having a blast sitting outside with us. Then there was a table of gentlemen that had all the same logo on their shirts, some kind of company and the same hat. Obviously they are on lunch break. Great. And then there were 2 ladies and 2 gentlemen that came up very formally dressed, and they came to the bar and had a couple drinks and did a couple shots and had a celebration. We're there for about 15 minutes and they went on. So that little example, that's 3 different examples of I'm here for the drinks, I'm here for the environment, I'm here to sit outside. It's really cool. Last question I have for you.
Okay.
Twin Peaks is getting it right.
We try to.
Let me just tell you, you're doing great.
Thank you.
I'm proud of you.
Text you.
Yes, I will text you tomorrow. There are so many restaurants that don't get it right. Can you share, not giving away your secrets, what are a few of the elements that you could suggest? And this can be a subtle plug. Because I want you to grow. I want Twin Peaks to grow.
Sure.
What is so different? How do you do it so differently?
I think it goes back to, if you're the guest of your brand, you know how your guests want to be treated. And so you're able to provide that to your guests because I want that experience. I want to be able to pay a great price and watch a UFC and sit outside, and because I want that as a guest. So certainly I should be able to give that as a restaurant brand.
Right.
And I think once again, if you're not a user of your own brand, you can't do it right because you don't know what your brand needs.
It's great. Be the user of your own brand. And I guess anyone that is listening can think about that. As you just said that, I try to provide what I think people would want from me as a speaker. I want to make sure that they're not on their phones, that they're with me. Your group was in my heart. We were connected.
I was with you.
Thank
I was
you.
leaning forward.
I know. I know you were. You got the most gratitude zones. But that is a really, I think, terrific advice. Make sure that you are always looking at things from the lens of a customer. What can you provide them? What do they want? What do you want if you're a customer? And then if you are aligned with the DNA, your mission and your vision and your values, and don't sway from those. That is critical, and empower people. So all of these things. You have a very busy job. You're traveling all of the time. And I said to you when I first met you this morning, you look good, you look refreshed. You don't look like a broken down restaurateur or hospitality service professional like I have known for many years. You look vibrant and you look good. What advice would you give to our listeners, despite what your job is? How can you continue to look vibrant and good at, what are you, 43, 44, 57?
56.
I'm with you. I'm a little older, but what would you suggest? You got a lot of stuff going on.
I think you need to make sure what you're doing. I don't look at it as a job. I look at it as a lifestyle. My brand is a lifestyle brand, and so it fits into my lifestyle. So that is part of it, because I don't feel like, oh my gosh, I have to go to the job again. No, I'm living my life, and my brand's part of my life. And then having balance. There's some days, Megan will argue with you, that you probably should unplug and do something. My idea of doing something is probably reading shift notes and see how the night went. Stay healthy. You gotta love your brand.
Yeah.
And if you love your brand as a lifestyle, it will balance your life.
That's it.
To me.
That's it. If you love your brand, you love your job, you love what you were doing, it balances everything out. And I agree. And I'm living that right now.
When you wake up and don't want to go, that's not good.
Yeah.
And there's days you're like, oh, I'd rather do something good. But if you're waking up every day thinking, oh, I gotta go back in.
I was hoping you were going to say you remain flexible, like being bamboo.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Remaining flexible.
Be flexible.
Being a gift for you.
I love it.
Joe. All right.
Love it.
You're going to get a Timber t-shirt pretty soon too. I'm making them up for
I'm
you.
telling you, I'm going to go adopt one.
Yeah, all right, good.
My wife's going to yell at me because I adopt them and love them. I'm like, all right, I got to go out of town. And she's dealing with it.
The last cool thing that I want to compliment your team on, so we did that little video of Demi at your Louisville location, and I can't remember his name, a gentleman that's part of your development team. He's been there for like 14 years or so.
Either Paul or Robert.
Okay, and I can't remember.
Yep.
But he came up and he said, what time were you at the restaurant?
I know what he's going to tell you.
Yeah, and I was just like, yeah, it was like we landed at 11, so we was probably there a little afternoon, like 12:10, 12:15. He's like, okay. And I'm like, why? And he's just like, I noticed something.
I know.
So when we recorded the video, and you noticed it too, didn't you?
I saw it.
He typed in, find out why a certain TV station was not on, and it was like the blank screen, whatever.
It said ZB.
Yes, exactly.
That's
And he said, and I said, are you kidding me? Your development, you noticed that? And he's just like, yeah, I care, and I notice things because I want to look at it from the lens of the customer. Right. And so he said, what? I need to find out what was going on and who the manager was and all this other stuff. I'm like, let me explain it to you. I said, a meeting with your general manager, and he was going to show us a little video of one of the celebratory clips to recognize one of your Twin Peak girls.
Oh, good.
So he was trying to put a different channel on. That's why. But he said that you would know.
I saw it.
Yeah, yeah.
They came and told me about it. I saw it.
So being the CEO of a company responsible for 100 plus locations and 15,000 employees, it's unbelievable that those are the little details that you notice.
The details are the difference between good and great.
Right.
And when we go out, we look at air vents. Oh, is that dirt up there? Or that light bulb doesn't look right?
Yeah.
That TV's not running? Most guests don't look at that, but you do need to look at it from a guest's eye. If you're always in the tunnel of your job,
Sure.
and you don't see it from the guest perspective, you're never going to notice the problems
And
that
that's
a guest is having.
understood. And that's why you have created a best of the batch team.
Right.
You have an all-star team. And I'm so proud to be involved with your organization. Thank you for having me.
You were great.
Thank
you.
you.
were great as it, and I know our teams will take nuggets back. I know somebody told me I should start my meeting tomorrow. Where did you get the blueberries?
Yeah, where'd you find the blueberries? Good. If you could fill in the blanks, because the name of the company, the name of the podcast is Most People Don't Fill in the Blanks. Most people don't blank.
Oh man, most people don't. Are you can you edit it?
You edit however you want. No right or wrong. You're the CEO of Twin Peaks Restaurants.
There's a couple things.
Sure, tell me.
Most people don't give it.
Yeah.
So you'll have to beep that.
We'll say care.
Yes. Most people don't care.
Thank you.
Most people don't notice the details. And that's when the details are like, I was told once, in a jungle. You're in a jungle and you're worried about getting eaten by a lion. And you die from the mosquito bites. Those are the little details.
You're absolutely
And
right.
if you don't notice the details, it could erode. And as soon as you just give a little bit and a little less flexibility on those details, and it just keeps eroding, eventually it's gone. The core goes away.
Love it.
So
Great life lessons, great professional lessons,
Thanks.
great career lessons. Joe Hummel, CEO of Twin Peaks Restaurants. We will include some references and some links
Great.
because I want everyone to be able to learn more about not only you, but about the brand that you are helping to enliven and expand. If there's potential investors, I want them to purchase. And if individuals are looking to get hired on the East Coast soon, I know you're expanding. You're heading off to Chicago tomorrow, so for the Midwest. But keep on doing great things. Again, very proud to know you. So thank you,
Bart,
Joe.
thank you so much. Appreciate you.